welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Tonight we are joined by Renington Chronicles author PF Felix. Yay! Welcome to the. You're welcome. Welcome to the room. How are you today?
I am pretty good. Thank you so much for having me, Eri.
Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure. Let me start our 20-minute timer. We do pressure. If we go over a little bit, it's okay. So what I want to ask you first, let's talk about the West Indies. Tell me about where you came from.
I came from Freeport, Bahamas. I was born in, they call it New Providence, but I just call it Freeport, Bahamas. Back in I don't want to say the year, but it was a time when the U.S. was struggling with the Caribbean. So, yeah, it's a significant time period when I was born, and I'm glad I got to the U.S.
Well, that's nice. So now tell us we're currently inside, huh?
Yeah, I wish.
No, okay. Well, I'm in farmland, so the ocean's pretty far from me. So
But it's beautiful. I've been to farm areas like in Tennessee. Oh, it's so majestic.
oh, we're in Ohio. I'm in Ohio, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. So well, I don't know if I call it majestic, but it's pretty.
It's pretty for someone like me. Maybe
Oh,
it's
okay.
common for you, but it's pretty to me.
Well, I've been born and raised here, so yeah, it's kind of, it's the norm for me. Although I like it, it's the norm for me. So now when you were growing up, I read that you were really into Gothic. So tell me the draw for you.
Well, growing up in the Caribbean, as most people are aware of, we're heavily into spirituality.
Okay.
Some people call it voodoo, but because of our indigenous roots, we're very spiritual people. So I remember, excuse me, I'm so sorry to all the viewers.
Oh no, you're fine.
I remember, well, thanks, sweetie. I remember first seeing Serpent in the Rainbow, which is about Moody. It's a Wes Craven film. And I'm dating myself by saying it and just kind of like laughing when other people were like freaking out watching it with the other kids, from different backgrounds, mostly Latino because of the Latino mix in South Miami, which is where I was raised.
Okay.
I was laughing at it. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? That's not how they do it. Like, oh, so you must be evil. And so I'm like, no. So I had like this thing about like watching every horror movie ever made in America and like comparing it to my culture and then comparing it a little bit to Wiccan. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing is crap. Like you're not crap the storyline,
Right.
but like it's not the way things would be done if you wanted to execute a certain spell or something.
Okay.
So that's how I got into it at a very early age, and then I fell in love with Macbeth in high school. I remember being casted by my teacher. I didn't choose.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
hey, I'm black. We don't do this.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't do this. And she casted me as. She's like, you're so natural at it, and I just started laughing. I'm like, what are you trying to say? So I could go on, and I know it's 20 minutes, so I'll shut up now. But
No,
yeah,
no,
that's
you're fine. You're fine. If you were going over, I would try to re-angle the conversation. You're fine. You're fine. Um,
thanks, love.
you're welcome. Now on not Instagram. I'm sorry. On Wisdom, I actually titled this live with your PF Felix. So tell me a little
Cool.
bit. I know, right? I thought that was kind of cool.
Gave me chills.
I know. I did title it that way because I found that extremely interesting. I didn't put it in the title here because I wasn't real sure, but I thought, boy, that is so. It is. I do like the dark mysticism. Define that to me. Tell me exactly what that
To
means.
me, well, the genre of choice for me is paranormal. And
Okay.
this story is multi-genre. It's paranormal romance with, lots of thrillers in it. But dark mysticism is another way of saying spirituality in my book. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not being definitive. I'm just giving you my interpretation of it.
Right. Right.
Dark mysticism is what you cannot really explain because it doesn't deal with this realm, this reality that we know, me talking to you and you seeing your family and friends, that kind of thing.
Uh
It deals with maybe connecting with spirits in the spiritual realm. And I don't want to freak anyone out because, it is what it is.
huh.
But that's what dark mysticism is to me. And so when I wrote this story, I was very conscientious about not putting too much in it. But
Hmm.
if you are an avid participant, or if you are a spiritualist, because some have reached out to me, they're like, you might want to pipe it down here and there. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to beef it up because I got your attention. So, dark, to answer your question, dark, that's what dark mysticism is to me. It's basically tapping into that energy. You know what I mean? Being very cautious when you do it, of course. And I recommend that to anybody. But tapping into that realm that you and I can't see in this reality.
Right. Well, I actually find that very interesting, to be honest with you. I mean, it kind of gives me a couple ideas for some books of my own. So,
Yes, you're a writer. You're an author. I love
yeah.
that about you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a little
Come
bit.
on.
A little bit. Currently, I'm not doing any writing. I broke my, well, I didn't break it. I fractured my elbow, so I'm not doing much of anything writing wise.
Oh my God.
I know, I
I'm
know.
sending blessings your way. I'm
Oh,
sending
thank
blessings your
you,
way
thank
too.
you. I greatly appreciate that. So let's see now. I mentioned.
Fiction. I can play with it. The type of paranormality I'm tapping into is demons, witches, nuns, believe it or not.
Oh,
And I turned on, and I actually talked to my graduate professor about it. She thought it was really cool that I was able to do that because paranormal anything is a huge. You
hmm.
can talk about Ghost, like the movie Ghost, starring Patrick Swayze.
Oh
Oh, I love
yeah,
these.
yeah. I
You can. There's all of that's paranormal.
Right.
So yeah.
Trust me, I know those both of those. I'm that old. I'm almost I'm actually I'll be 50 this December. So yeah, I'm 49 currently. And thank you.
Okay, so we're around the same age.
Yeah, well see
We're
there.
around the same age. That's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. I always like it when people come on here and I'm like, I'm so old, and then I'm like several years older. And I'm like, uh-huh. um
She's showing off because she looks so good. Okay, that's fine.
no,
It's okay,
no,
Eri. I'm
no.
not hurt. I'm not hurt at all.
No, no. But thank you. I'll take that as a compliment too. Um, so let's take a moment. And I want you to tell me just about the Rennington Chronicles series. Now, I know there's a first book in it. It's Night Professor. So tell us a little bit about the first book, okay? Tell us what.
Okay, well, I have a surprise for you.
Okay.
I was recently signed by Golden Storyline Books
No,
in the
don't go too far
UK.
ahead. Don't get too far ahead. That was actually one of my questions. Don't go too far ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
That's all
No,
right.
they're changing the story.
Okay.
So book one, I released it. Didn't sell as many copies as I wanted, but so I started pitching it to other publishers, hoping to get a U.S. publisher.
Okay.
And because of my, I'm gonna say small fan base in the UK, but I love them, each and every one of them. The Golden Storyline from the UK, they reached out to me. They're like, "We love your book, but you can do some things with it." So
Right.
I'm working with them, and we are revamping
Oh,
book
okay.
one. So it's called The Night Professor, which I'm so glad that you brought up, love.
Dr.
And the
Nolan.
reason, yes, the Night Professor is going to be called Dr. Nolan, and it's aired here first. And I'm putting you on blast in a positive way because no
Nice.
one knew about that until now. The
Nice.
surprise, Eri.
Well, actually, that what the you signing with, I have it written right here. I said, this is my question. It was says, since we're talking about the Night Professor, tell me about Golden Storyline books. And so that's why I was going into that because I read that you had just signed with them. So congratulations.
Thank you. This was my bucket list item to
Okay.
get signed by a traditional publisher, and it actually happened. It's a slow process.
Right.
They're editing the book. We're making some changes to it. It's a lot darker. It's a lot sexier. So if you like romance novels, even though you have to sift through some crazy things, you're gonna love this. I believe you're gonna love this story because the romance is a lot more richer with the change a little bit to the story about the first book. The first book and the same book are essentially the same. Um, but the first book is about, it focuses on a young woman, a young, beautiful Jewish law student named Amira Rose, who's convicted for the accidental death of her biracial girlfriend. Her
Oh,
biracial girlfriend is Creole, half Mexican.
okay.
And anyway, so she, instead of doing time, like her other classmates that were also convicted for a crime that they were all privy to or a part of. Instead of doing time, her mother, who is a powerful town mayor, convinces the judge to have her serve her time hard labor at a distant location, which is this place called Rennington, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Rennington Chronicles. So she goes there thinking that she's doing her time. And she notices some strange things happening around the town, all resolving to this company named Malcor. It's a very, very what do you call it, exclusive, very, very wealthy European development firm. They usually work on things like Buckingham Palace. But they came to the town to restore the town, but she notices that they are like capitalizing on it, and no one's saying anything because they're benefiting from it. And then there's still some deaths happening around the town that are unexplained. While she's there, she encounters a new professor that onboards. He's a volunteer professor, and she begins a relationship with him unexpectedly, right? Because she's a stone cold lesbian in the beginning that you will need, but then
Okay.
she begins a bisexual relationship with him.
Okay.
However, what she doesn't realize is that everything that's happened to her, including the death of her former lover, all of that is entangled with her going to Rennington. Meaning, they want
Ah,
something evil wanted her to go to Rennington,
right.
and that's what the story's about in a nutshell.
Nice. So it kind of set the things in motion to get her there.
Yeah, they set a lot of bad things in motion
Okay.
to get her there, and by the time she realizes she's in a very dangerous spot. And
Now,
so that's
and they're vamping the story a little bit. So tell me, do you see that it's going to evolve into a more than one? Is it going to be? Because I know you have it as a series, but are they going to continue it as a series? Do they see it going farther?
well, they like the original story. They like the Night Professor. We just agreed that the title should change.
Oh,
um,
okay.
and
Okay.
but they want to see the success because they know I'm a new author. They know I didn't, sell all the books I wanted and all that stuff. They already knew that. They already calculated all that.
Okay.
But in order to say, okay, we're going to now extend your contract to the series, they want to see how well this new story does. And trust me, the storyline itself, I can't speak about sales. I can't predict things. I'm not one of those spiritualists. But what I can say is the storyline to me is a lot darker because in book one or in the Night Professor, you're kind of focused on another character other than the Night Professor. You're focused on who's entangled with the Night Professor, so it blends well.
Okay.
But in this version, it's all Dr. Nolan. It's all about the professor. Everybody's got a dark side. And so I think this story is a lot sexier, it's a lot darker, but it's just it's the focus. The focus is more on him than on her, where in the original was more on her.
Okay. I get you. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm following. I'm following. It sounds very intriguing. I'd be very interested. Um, or I did notice it off of LinkedIn when I was looking you up and looking around. So, clarinet, a professional musician. Tell me about that.
Sorry.
I'm not afraid to go anywhere to look you up to find out what I need to
Oh.
find. So to be thorough. So I do try like to look around and I love finding different things. I mean, don't nothing, you know what I mean? Nothing mean or, or but I do love finding some of these little anecdotes. So tell me about being a musician. Tell me how that came about.
Yes, well, I was a B flat clarinetist since middle school. I remember we couldn't afford it, and so I joined the school musical program, the band at
Right. Yeah.
school in middle school, and that was the only way I could get a clarinet. And because the teachers knew that we were struggling, they would let me rent out the clarinet year round instead of turning it in at the end of the school year
Right.
and then waiting throughout the summer, because we were working class, very low working class.
Right.
And so I played the clarinet all through the last 2 years in middle school, all through high school, and then after that, I bought my first clarinet. I was so happy with my first real and full
Right.
time job,
Uh-huh.
and I kept playing in the church for at least until I was about 26. And now my daughter plays the clarinet, and so I'm
Nice.
teaching her, and she's always challenging me with, oh, that's not right, Mom. That's not how the teacher shows him. Like, hey, you want to get these trills right? You want to get this, want this to sound perfect? You want a day crescendo? Well, okay, this is how you do it. And then, the jazz part about it came in high school, where we tried to do little different programs because we were a minority environment. Most of the kids never heard of symphonic band or jazz band. I know I'm one of them. And so the band director then, he tried to institute different programs. And so I was in a quartet throughout high school, which was cool. And then I was in the jazz band, and we played at different programs throughout the school. And then I remember when we played in the state of Florida, we won. We actually won a freaking like title of excellence, and it just felt like, wow, I came from nothing to teaching myself how to play the clarinet, to joining the band, and
Right.
now look, this is a part of my school's history. So I'm
Right.
really proud of that.
Well, you
Yeah,
should
but I've been
be.
playing
You
throughout.
should be, because I can't play anything. I can't.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you can do a lot of other things. We all have our little talents, you know what I mean? So it's not like,
Yeah. Currently, it's falling down and breaking my elbow.
oh,
Yeah. Well, let's
that's
not.
gotta hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I didn't just fall once. The next day, I did it again, and I was like, "Are you flipping kidding me?"
Oh my
I
God,
know.
poor babe.
Well. So with the writing, and tell me, I know you have the Runnington Chronicles, and this is your first. You did publish in 2021, correct?
That is correct.
And you're gonna you're revamping and you're republishing it. When is it coming out again?
I tried to ask the editor that. He's like, he's not responding to that. He
Oh,
responds to everything else. But I'm assuming it will come out, but
right.
I have to see what they're editing. Like, they liked my inputs, and then they took the manuscript, and then I made some adjustments and gave them a new manuscript. And then I'm waiting for them, and it's been like 6 weeks. And I know the editing process takes anywhere from what I've Googled and researched, because they're not going to tell. I've Googled, it takes. And the irony of this, the reason why it's taking so long, I think, between us, professionals, is
Right.
because the word Rennington is actually a name of a village in Alnwick, Northumberland, UK.
Oh.
And when I wrote about it, honestly, I thought it all came from a spiritual vision. I thought it all came from my thoughts and prayers and whatever. And then a fan told me, hey, there's a village called Rennington. It's in northern England, south of Scotland. You have
Yeah.
got to be lying to me. And the weird part is that there are certain things that I talk about, like the fall festival. It was my rendition of Halloween, but I didn't want to say Halloween because it's such a commercial thing to say. So I
Right.
wanted to be different. And I wrote out about like a series of events that would happen that are different, that aren't common in the US. It may be common in the islands, but not the US. Well, they have a corn festival. And I swear to God, I've never been to Runnington, photos, because I was in contact with someone in their parish. I mean, I checked my, Advil for crack. Like, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? I could not believe how wonderful
Wait,
it
wait,
was.
wait. You
And
checked
so
your
they thought I,
hold on. Hold on. Let me stop my timer. You checked your Advil for crack.
yeah, I thought I was on crack or something, because it was too surreal for this to happen.
I
I
love
can guess a
I
lot of things about you, and then to be absolutely accurate has to mean something in
yeah.
my book, right?
I really love that statement. I had to check. Like I should put that on a plaque and hang that somewhere.
Yeah.
That is gold. Um, we are out of 20 minutes, but I want to ask you one final question before I know, I'm sorry. But I'd love to have you back on. I am pretty much booked for this year, but let's do this. Let me ask you, where do you see you going from here? Do you plan on having another series, another book? Do you have something
Yes.
else in the
So
work? Okay, tell me just a
yes.
little
So
bit.
I have it copywritten already. It's
Okay.
called Bad Games,
Okay.
and it takes place in Runnington again. It's going to be a part of the series. So Runnington is the umbrella, right? And book one is now Dr. Nolan. Book two is going to be Bad Games. And book three is going to be this title that I'm not going to reveal until the end of the
Okay.
year. I'm actually going to go to Runnington this year,
Okay.
probably around Christmas time, to get a feel for the land and to get an understanding. Envisioned it so well, having never been. And so with that, I say that to say that The series is going to continue moving forward. I'm in a master's. Thank you, love. And I say that because my professor is actually helping me with book two.
Oh,
And
great.
so I'm getting like that academic support to make it very, very interesting. But it's going to focus on a video game that hit the town mysteriously,
Uh-huh.
and it's possessing and killing a lot of people who are playing it.
Nice.
And my daughter's my niece.
When you say that's going to come out at
I was doing to go back and revamp book one, which kind of threw me off. But hey, you get a traditional publisher, you do whatever they tell you, right?
right. Oh, I don't blame.
I
I don't blame you. If you that is really, I mean, it's beyond awesome that someone reaches out and said, "Hey, we would love to make this a part of something else. We would love to help you grow this." I mean, that is extraordinary compliment. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know if I would how I would feel about that. I'd be like, "Okay, what?"
That's exactly what I said to them. Okay, what?
Yeah, what?
No, I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I reached out to a lot of American publishers, and some of them are a little, I mean, not publishers, literary agents, and some of them are a little deceptive. Some couldn't even believe my race because they were expecting, because I didn't send a photo, I didn't want to show my face, because I just wanted people to love my work for my work and
Right.
not worry about who I am or where I'm from. Some literary agents, especially in New York, they were like, "Oh, tell us your race. We like to help minorities, whatever." As soon as you tell them your race, they go ghost. And
Yeah.
so to have this objective, wonderful organization or company in the UK say, "We love your store. We can do something with it." That meant a lot.
Let's do this. Why don't you come back with the next book? You say it's going to come back. They're brewing another one, so let's come back and redo it. I mean, I'm open to that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you can tell me, break it on down. Okay.
Sounds like a date.
All right. Well, I want to thank you and everybody tonight, especially for bearing with me, doing everything one-handed in the studio. Trust me, if you could see me on the other side, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh." Anyway, so I want to thank you for that. Even my interview questions, I had to find a transcripting an app for one of my computers, and then I transferred it over to my Kobo so I could actually. It's totally worth it when I get to meet people like yourself, PF Felix. So it was an awesome. Her link is above in the bio. I will make sure that the link and that you can reach her will be on the videos that are posted. So please stay tuned, guys. Next Thursday we have Mike Date program again at 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in live. It means a great deal to us. Have a great evening. Bye bye for now.